Today on Calendly Good MTG, we're playing a deck called Bant 52. Bant because it's made up of cards of three different colors, white, green, and that little tiny icon right there is blue. That's the whole reason why this is a Bant deck, is just so we can play Doppelgang. And what's the 52 mean? It means it had a 52% win rate off of the site that I picked it up at. If that sounds interesting to you, then stay tuned to find out more. Hello and welcome to Uncommonly Good MTG. I'm your host and the new starting point guard for your Milwaukee Bucks, Dr. Yukon Socket. Yes, thank you. Filmed for a live studio audience. Thank you so much, Yukon Socket. Word to your mama. So I'm broadcasting to you today from my secret underground headquarters, and I'm bringing to you a deck I found over on the Aetherdrift, posted by the MTGA-Assistant-Meta. It was called Bant 52, because they just call it Bant, and then they put a 52% win rate on it over on the Aetherdrift. All right, so I've seen Felidar Retreat decks before. I've played them before. They're cool. But this one has, a couple other weird cards in it that I haven't normally seen with a Felidar deck before. So we're going to play it. We're going to see how good it is. And we're going to try to figure out whether it's worth playing. I can tell you, since I made a video out of this thing, it is. It is. It is definitely worth playing. All right, so let's take a look at the cards. We'll talk a little bit how this deck should work. And then we're going to go out and we're going to crush some hopes and dreams. What do we got here today? We got Authority of the Consuls, which opponent's stuff comes in tapped. And you gain a life if it's a creature. Great. What does this guy do? Destroy target artifact, enchantment, or put a popo counter on each target creature a player controls. So a lot of good utility there, depending upon what you particularly need. Get rid of enchantment creature or planeswalker. This will wipe the board if you got 7 mana and give you 5 or more dudes. Otherwise, it'll just put out dudes. And then all have toxic. And winning by toxic is a path to victory. Awaken the Woods puts out a bunch of dryads, which count as lands. So we got X. We could pump a whole bunch into that too if we got the mana for it, which we will. Doppelgang, you can put, what is it? For each of X target permanents, not even your own, create X tokens that are a copy of that permanent. So it's 3 times as much, meaning you can do things in quantities of 3. If you have 5 mana, you'll make 1 copy of one thing. If you got 8 mana, you'll make 2 copies of 2 things. If you got, 11 mana, you have 3 copies of 3 things. So you got a bunch of mana, which we'll have, then you got the ability to do amazing things. Amazing things. All right. When this guy comes out, you go get a land. When this guy is destroyed, you go get a land. And you can sacrifice it to go get 3 life. So this is a land ramp right there. Spelunking, when it enters, you draw a card. You can put a land from your hand into the battlefield. If it was a cave, which I don't believe we have any caves, then who cares about it? Lands you control enter untapped. So therefore, you don't have to worry about things coming in tapped anymore. You'll just be untapped. Felidar Retreat. Whenever land enters, you could do one of the following things. Create a 2/2 white cat. Or you could put a popo counter on each creature you control. And they gain vigilance until the end of the turn. So this is a creature generator like crazy. And we have the ability to put out a bunch of lands. We have 26 of them. And this thing puts out two lands when you put it out. So we got a single land from there, 2 lands from there. When this thing comes out, you can put out an additional land if you have more in your hand. Awaken the Woods puts out X lands of the Dryad variety. Yeah, so we got the ability to kick Felidar Retreat out like crazy. This destroys all creatures. You may want to wait till wait to put out your dudes until you start wiping the board. What does this thing do? Destroys all creatures. So we got a lot of creature removal here. Creature removal, creature removal, creature removal. Yeah, but try not to have all your dudes out. We want to wait on some stuff until you're ready to go to town. Lastly, we got Virtue of Strength. What does it do? It returns a creature or land from your graveyard to your hand. So if one of your lands goes into your graveyard, this will get it back for you. All right, great. But what you really want is the 7 ability, which is if you tap a basic land for mana, it produces 3 times as much. 3 times. I don't know what happens if you had 2 of them out. Is it 3 times 3? So is it 9? Or is it just 2 times 3, which is then 6? I don't know. Math. And that's for nerds. All right, so this thing will make it go crazy. What are you going to do? You're going to get this guy out, and then you start doing things like Awaken the Woods or Doppelgang or White Sun's Twilight. With all of that stuff, you'll wipe the board, potentially put out 100 dudes, or you'll put out like 100 Awaken the Woods, and Felidar's Retreat will go off 1 billion times, putting out a bunch of cats or just blowing everybody up by like 1 billion times. What do we got over here? We've got the ability to discover if we want to sacrifice this land. We got some man lands and a whole bunch of basic lands. So, and another discoverer. So we got discover lands just in case things go wrong. What does discover do? Sacrifice it. We get to pull cards from the top of your library until you find a non-land card with a mana value of 4 or less, and then you can put it into the. You can play it or put it into your hand, whatever you want to do. All right. So what are we going to do with this? We're going to put out Authority of the Consul, which is going to buy us a ton of time. We'll work our way up. Just try to ignore the guys as much as possible. Wipe the board when they build up enough of a creature state. Just kind of keep at it for a little bit. And then start putting out like Felidar's Retreat and putting out bunches of creatures, potentially like 1 billion, and then attack them and win the game. So that's it. That's how you do it. If things get too nasty, Doppelgang some of their stuff, because if they put out like, I don't know, like something big, like Super Dinosaur Extreme, then make, 3 copies of Super Dinosaur Extreme. And then you could go face to face and kill one of them off. You still got 2 copies left and he's got nothing. That's it. That's the deck. All right. So before we go out and do our damage, let's do as we do every night. Let's say our prayers and talk about what is best in life. Hands together. Dear Black Queen Sholdred, who dwells within the dark chambers of my heart, please hear my prayers and grant my blessings as we attempt to crush our enemies, see them driven before us, and to hear the lamentations of the women. All right, playing against Inochiro. All right, we're doing it right. Three, I'm going to... Yeah, let's put this guy out. We're ramping. Twilight is probably going to be great. We just got to wipe his board. We got to get up to 7 to make it worth our while. All right, let's harvest. Blues we need to get at this point. We get the opportunity to grab a blue because Doppelganger works out well. And we'll do it again. There's no more blues to be getting, but we'll take what we can. Let's grab another white. There, now we got it for White Sun's Twilight. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. One more. And we're good. I can, well, if I Awaken the Woods, I'll lose all those dudes. Always need one more mana. The odds are we're going to pull mana very quickly, though. Like that guy. I can... Whoa, I can just do it now, can't I? 1, 2... We should probably wait a little bit. Alright, I can pull a bunch now. What does it say? Basic land for mana produces 3 times as much. How much have I got? 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 basic lands. Oh, what a jerk. Alright, well, I got to do it now. Seven, right? So 5. Oh, he's got a console out. Well, that sucks. So what do I got then? I got 1, 2, 3, 4 times 3 is 12, 13, 14, 15. I decided we're going to be a little bit more hesitant. I got enough to do this one? Can I? Yeah. Now we go to town. I'm going to have to do math just to figure out how much we can do. I don't care. We'll go for his face. That's poison right there. The worst part is if he just wipes the board. That would be extraordinarily bad. I just didn't want to gain in life for all of the dudes we're putting out. What do we have here? We got 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 times. I don't even know what we have. 8 times 3 is 24. Let's just pretend we could do that again. So that's almost 50. I could do 50. Let's try that. Go for the face. All right, he's got to wipe the board, otherwise he's dead. But the question is, can he, like, kill me? Nope. He's wiped the board. He would have wiped the board. Is he just hoping to get more board wipes when he draws? All right, let's just be done. Come on. You think you can block 50 times? You can block 5 times. There we go. Suck it, suckerfish. Suck it. Victory. All right, playing with Difalco. Difalco. 2 mana. Dead Judgment. This is 3 is our first thing we do. Keep. Never like, Awaken the Woods can be okay to put out something if you're really in the mood for some mana that you don't have. When it costs you 3 mana, you get 1 out of the deal, and that's something. Hey, your bear doesn't like it here. It's too artificial. Just like Cubert doesn't particularly care for it. Yep. I'm going to go for blue. Problem is, this guy's going to come out short. If I do this next turn, I'll only get 2 guys out of the deal. Day of Judgment's not really going to do me any good here, so I guess that's who I'm going to discard. I think he doesn't like the fact that they can't use Liliana to kill my guys, since he'd have to get rid of his own cards to do what he wants to do next. Well, he is wasting cards at this point. All right, what do we got? Lots of white. Let's do white. We got enough green. This guy, you can tell he wants to come after my guys, but I'm not putting any guys out, so that is bad for him. He doesn't want to discard the cards in his hand, so he's not using Liliana to the best of her ability either. What do I got? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So I can do 5 here. There you go, 5 guys. The worst part is what I could do is wipe out the board after I put 1,000 guys onto the battlefield. I got a ton of mana. I got a ton of mana. Let's see if I can do better than this guy, though. That's what he wants to do. Well, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 12. All right, there's a lot of guys. What does this guy use? A 2/3 flyer. This guy is a 3/3, putting popo counters on stuff. And we win. And we win. Victory! All right, we're playing against Azinwan 87. Azinwan. All right, let's keep that dragon asleep. Night-night, dragon. All right, console's great. Everything else is a 3. So it gives us time and tempo. All right, Cubert, I see what you're doing. You give me the eye. You want your Energon cubes. I understand. 2. This card is fantastic for going to get blue mana. That's the best thing I can say about Heaped Harvest. Because you know what never comes up otherwise? Blue mana. Never, ever, ever. So I need 5 to copy one thing one time. Let's pop this. Yeah, I like to go get some basic mana. Thanks. All right, there's nothing out for me to grab hold of. That's the biggest problem. Do I really want a vehicle? Not really. I don't have any dudes to vehicleize. Do I have the mana for this? Put another one? I could do this thing. That's a lot of mana. And this is all we get out as another authority. Where are my creatures at, man? Do I have creatures, actually? Well, I mean, Awaken the Woods. He won't put out his own creatures for me to steal. Then he's what, 4? Crew 4? Ooh. So what do I got here? 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I can make 2 copies of Vaultborn Tyrants. There we go. That is very pleasant. Well, I'm going to have to get rid of some stuff now, aren't I? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. All right, I don't need land, really. Did I just mill myself? Seven cards I got to keep. 1, 2, 3, 4. Five. 6. Really don't need more land. 7. There we go. All right, so he's got to kill his tyrants. Nice. Good for you, baby. He's going through the same problem I just went through. I could mill myself. That'd be a problem. Yeah, my guys are not getting what they need to get. Well, I'm at 81 life. He's at 59. We're doing a lot of stuff together right now. What have I got? 1, 2, 3, 4, 8, 9. He gets 2 of his guys back, I think. We got a little White Sun Twilight going on there. That should help us out. Well, this guy's rocking tons of mana and tons of cards. I'm concerned. I'd like to just, we could Awaken the Woods like crazy. What that's going to do is going to be great. We got to eliminate his little boys, though. That's the problem. It's just White Sun's Twilight. That's all. Come at me. It's amazing when you get hit for 12 and it just doesn't matter at all. All right, and we win. He looked at the writing on the wall, saw where it was going. Victory! We are playing against Kumano. I remember Kumano. He was a leader, something like that. 1, 2, 3. Keep. All right, all the whites coming in tapped, so nothing we can do on the first turn unless we draw a white land, which we did not. Let's just put out the man land. That's fine. All right. Let's get the other man land out. That's fine. Put out Authorita. Don't be countering stuff. Don't be a jerk. All right, well, if I want to go Felidar Retreat on the next turn, we can. But then I have to do nothing here. Suddenly, the idea of ramping into more land sounds so much more exciting with Felidar Retreat in play. Life. Retreat. All right, hopefully he doesn't have the ability to take that out. Blue can bounce. Red can't do anything to enchantments. So I feel pretty good about Feldar's ability to exist. No lands in the graveyard. We get tons of mana if we want to, potentially with this, but I don't know what we played on. We Awaken the Woods would be the thing to do, but we don't have any. Come at me, brah. Mechano Zombie. I'd have to discover. Get myself out some cats. Yeah, I really don't need more blue. I can get a blue, why not, right? I guess we do need lots of green and white. Up to 2. 1 green, 1 white. Let's do that. Cat. Cat. Up. And hopefully he doesn't just kill them. I mean, they are well within pole position for being killed. Trick or treat. Come on. Open the door, lady. Roar. All right, come at me, brah. Interesting. All right, let's mana it up. And up, up, up. I'll go for the blue. Why not? We're gonna get rid of here. Shifty mix shifters in there. All right, let's go for the face. All right, it's down to 8. At this point, I might just have to discover. So I'm not drawing cards enough. Got 26 lands in this deck, so it's a land-heavy deck. Which is what you want, Felidar. I've been investing a lot in just 2 cats. Kind of feel like I haven't been diversifying enough. Basically 1 good bounce spell and we're toast. I got my man lands to help me out. There we go. See, that's a problem. That's exactly what I'm worried about. All right, he's got 1 mana left. Don't worry, I will beat you within an inch of your life. Pew. Now we're back where you were at. All right, another Felidar Retreat. That's not really going to help me out super much right now, is it? Let's go ahead and man-land it. Big enough for that? I think I do. There we go. Super pump! You can block 1, you can take 6. That's your only way forward here. And, there we go. Land's great, but I'll wait till next turn before we pop it down. Might need to generate some more cats. All right, Kumano. Let's beat feet. This game needs to be won. I'm coming out with my man lands. You're not going to like it. You guys tap. This is where Authority of the Consuls is just kicking ass. Yeah, there we go. Winner, winner! Victory dinner! All right, so here we are with Bant 52. It ended up being an incredible deck. Incredible. That's a 4-syllable review right there. Why was it incredible? I got 100% out of this thing. It's only supposed to be a 52% win rate. But, you know, sometimes decks go along with you. It could just be that the Magic the Gathering gods who've been punishing me so badly in the last couple weeks decided to turn around and give me all the luck. Could easily be that. But this deck did very well. Did I play against any real aggro decks? No. That was another thing. I got the impression that somebody coming at me aggro would probably do a good job of wiping me out. Authority of the Consuls is... Okay, that's going to be my MVP, but we'll talk about that more later. Yeah, no, this was a really, really good deck. There's lots of opportunities just to take it down, but yet the people I played with never had the opportunity to do that. I don't know why. All right, let's get to it. Number one, was this deck competitive? I got to say it is. I mean, in my own plays, I had a 100% win rate with this thing. I played it 10 times, never lost once the entire time. Sometimes I won them by manlands. Sometimes I won by having 1,000 Awaken in the Woods, Dryads, whatever out there doing things. Sometimes it was Felidar's Retreat winning the game. It just was craziness. But overall, I'll get to the MVP in a little bit. It was one card that was really the thing that was keeping this deck together. And that was Authority of the Consuls. So let's just move on. Who was the MVP? Who was the most valuable player? Well, it was Authority of the Consuls. Actually, I usually do that before I do whether it's competitive or not. So yeah, Authority of the Consuls, you are the MVP. Why is that? Because you stop opponents from playing creatures with haste. That's why. They always come out tapped, and no matter what happens, they're not doing anything with those creatures. That gives me so much time. If that's all you did, you would still be a wonderful card. But instead, you give me a life for each one of those creatures as well. I gained so much life off of Authority of the Consuls. It was just nasty. The amount of time that this thing saves me, which that one card by itself will usually defeat aggro decks just because they just put out little dudes, lots of little dudes, and you're sitting there just tucking up life and time, which allows you to get what you need, which is like White Sun's Twilight or Day of Judgment. You know, that's what we're going to be using to like wipe the board. Doppelgang just completely goes nuts doing things. I mean, it is so good. One of the problems with this deck probably is the lack of creatures. We don't have a lot of creatures. Where do we get them from? We get them from Felidar Retreat when we put out lands, Awaken the Woods, which puts out more lands, a lot of lands, and White Sun's Twilight, which you could do for a little tiny bit, but you kind of want to wait till you have 7 mana to be able to play it. But we don't actually have any creature cards in this deck. None at all. It's just a crazy deck that way. But we do have board wipes. Lord, we do. And the ability to put out land, which is we're ramping like crazy. So this is like a Selesnya ramp deck. Might also be called Selesnya Domain just because we have so much going on with, with putting lands out. Maybe a Selesnya Landfall deck. Not a lot going on as far as landfall is concerned. But, Felidar Retreat is a landfall card, and that really is the true cornerstone of what this deck's trying to do. All right, so what am I even talking about here? I was talking about the MVP, which is Authority of the Consuls. So congratulations, weird picture of a hallway. You're going to Disneyland. All right, let's get to it. Was this deck fun? Yes. Yeah, mostly it was because of the endings. I like the fact that at the end of the game, you were just going nuts. One of the things I say one of my favorite decks is that you have like that nuclear strike at the end of the game. Well, that reminds me of Boros Nuke. I love Boros Nuke with the Fiendish Valet. Oh, remember that time? But anyways, with this one, it's the same kind of thing. You're usually using White Sun's Twilight to put out a huge amount of dudes, Awaken the Woods to put out a huge amount of dude. I mean, Virtuous Strength is making it so that you're putting out tremendous amounts of mana, and you could use it for your X ability cards like Doppelgang, Awaken the Woods, and White Sun's Twilight. You got the ability to just nuke stuff. The only problem is it's a little on the slow side. So, people can react to whatever it is that you chose to do. That's the only bad part. But so far, I can tell you, it was never really a problem. I could just imagine that it was going to be a problem. But yeah, it was fun, mostly because of that. The first part of the game, a little slow. And that's the only thing is, as an aggro player, I prefer something with a little bit more meat at the beginning. Something with creatures in it, actually. This deck didn't have either. But regardless of that, the flavor you have in your mouth at the end of the game is usually top shelf. All right, lastly, was this deck interesting? It was the Felidar Retreat deck, which means you're going to be playing a lot of lands. We've been playing Felidar Retreat for a long time. There was a brief moment where it was out of the meta until, Foundation came in and made it available again. So, I gotta say, I was getting really tired of landfall decks featuring Felidar Retreat. But because we had a brief time without it and it's come back and people are playing it, but not too much, I'm pretty happy about it. It's a good card to have. It's a good one to play every once in a while. As long as it's not being shoved down your throat all the time, then yeah, Felidar Retreat's pretty cool. So while I'm used to seeing and playing against Felidar Retreat decks, this is a lot like it. Where did we get the difference here? I think it's Doppelgang and Authority of the Consuls or something you really didn't see. Authority of the Consul doesn't really combo well with stuff. It's a great card on its own and probably the best one-drop I can think of. It's probably the best one-drop card that I would ever think of playing with. And there's a lot of games where somebody puts that out, I just give up. Because I know my deck is like hasty aggro. And without the ability to come out on haste, like the other one, I'm all about like Urbrask Forge. Authority of the Consuls is complete kryptonite to Urbrask Forge. And it's just like, look, I don't have anything but Urbrask Forge, which is crazy to have a deck that's just that. But lo and behold, sometimes that's what I'm doing, baby. And that just bites. Authority of the Consuls, I can't handle it. So is this an interesting deck? I'm going to say yes. Why? Because, it's not in the top 10 as far as the meta for standard is concerned. It's definitely something that's not even in the top 100, the top list that you'll see anyplace else. But it's a great deck. It's a really good deck, and it does win a bunch. All right, so let's add this up. Was this deck competitive? Yes. Was this deck fun? Yes. Was this deck interesting? Totes my goats. Totally it was. All right, so there you go. This is an A+ deck, and as I'm required by federal law to say, this deck is so choice. I'd highly recommend you pick one up, should you have the means. That is all for now. If you enjoyed this video, please make sure to like and subscribe. From all of us here in the secret underground headquarters of Uncommonly Good MTG, have a great day. In the words of my people, shine on, you crazy diamonds. Later.